Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Thank you for your persistence, Mr. Cass. All right, Mrs. Wagner, would you mind moving us through operations, please?
Sure. There is only one item to move under transportation, and there are no objections. I'd like to move that we approve to advertise to solicit a bid for the sale of 2 54-passenger school buses.
Thank you, Mr. Cass. Questions, comments?
These buses are, these are the buses that have reached the end of their legal life to be used as school buses in New Jersey?
These 2 buses will be expiring at the end of this school year, June 30th.
Thank you.
And the rest of the public, how long is that? How many years?
The 54 passenger buses can be utilized for 15 years.
Even if they have 5 miles?
It's a year.
That is exactly.
I know.
Do we set a minimum when we do this, or is there a reserve on these?
We-
when we do it, or how do we do it?
We not typically go out to bid and hopefully get a nice chunk of money for it. If we do not see that the amount is sustainable, or we do not agree with it, we can reject the bids and go out again.
Remember, this year we had, the bid was really low, so we donated it to the town so they could use it for emergency drilling, things like that.
Yeah, that was a particular reason, right? That was going there. Yeah, yeah. Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Lure?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to the good of the cause. I will combine, like I normally do, committee reports, correspondence, discussion item, and other. If anyone has anything, feel free to chime in.
So, well, I'll start. I have 2 things. One, actually, I think we have the Riverview League graduation tomorrow at 1:30. Okay. I just wanted to mention that.
I have it in my calendar as 1:30, I believe that's correct. Mr. Forthy, I'll double check.
Great. I attended the New Jersey School Board Delegate Assembly on Saturday. There was actually one major motion that was approved. They also nominated and elected new officers for the president of the New Jersey School Board. Karen Portolino from Montville, who some of you may know her from the county organization. She's going to be the Vice President of Legislative Resolutions for New Jersey School Boards. She's moving up to that position. On the resolution I had mentioned to you about from the Weymouth Board of Ed, asking school boards to advocate basically for overfunded districts to basically be held harmless or receive money that they've been receiving up until S2. That resolution was put up, discussed for about a half hour. It was a pretty lively discussion. It did end up failing 63% to 37%. So there was some talk about changing the language a little bit to advocate specifically for districts where they were kind of outlier situations. Weymouth is one of those, interestingly. They're a very small district, a very transient kind of population, a lot of mobile homes, and their tax base is ridiculously low. So they're ones that they are getting hurt very hard by this. But so the discussion was had, and really got to say, but yeah, it did end up failing. And that was about it.
Thank you for taking time out of your Saturday to go down there and represent Denville. We appreciate it.
They do give us scrambled eggs and bacon, so and warm coffee, so it's almost worth it.
You should see.
No, it's actually, it is great. We also have a spot for an alternate, if anybody'd like to come, you can observe, and if I'm not able to go, then you will be the delegate, so if there's anybody that's interested in that, let me know. Don't all jump up.
Anyone else?
So, as the delegate for the, forgive me 1 second. Yeah, so there will be the Great Denville Duck Race that will be occurring on June 15th from Gardner Field from 10 a.m. If you're interested, the ducks are $10 and can be bought from local businesses in the area.
Is there a limit on how many ducks you can buy?
No, I don't think so. All proceeds are given to sponsor charitable projects by the Sunrise Clubs.
No, it's a fun event. I know my kids are getting a little old for it now, but I still drag them out.
You're not.
No. I think I'm gonna design a light duck this year. I did want to kind of jump on Mr. Forte's comments about Greece this weekend. I was over there for the entire show on Thursday and about half the show on Friday and Saturday, catching it after some other events for the day. But I gotta tell you, packed house all 3 nights. And what I was most impressed with was on Saturday night, I stood in the back with Mr. Corman as the show was ending, and as they were, all the actors were coming out and the folks that were in the show and they were taking their bows, the students that were in the audience were just so, they're so excited to cheer on and congratulate the cast and the crew. So that was probably the coolest thing I got to see this weekend, especially after a long couple days here. That was certainly the highlight of my weekend. And I appreciate all the staff and everyone who came out to support both throughout kind of putting the show together, but also just folks that came out just to be there for the students. We very much appreciate it. Steve, did you have anything on enrollment space? I know we got that on there.
No, we really don't have any update on that right now.
Okay.
I'd like to speak that the Riverview PTA had the fun fair on Saturday. It was a wonderful event, very successful. We're now the proud owners of a goldfish. I don't know whose idea that was, but no, it was a great time and very successful event. I don't know numbers, but you know, the PTA worked really hard putting it together, and I want to congratulate them.
Awesome. My son had a baseball game and we were over at Field 1 and my daughter was like, "What's that over there?" And I said, "It's the Riverview Fun Fair." She goes, "Oh, I go to Lakeview." They do. I told her, I said, "You can go over there." Anything else for the good of the cause? Seeing none, I will open up for our second open public comment section at 8:38 p.m. Once again, if you'd like to make a comment, please come up and put your name and address on the sheet, sign in, and state your name and address for the record. Don't worry, he's not the presiding officer. You can speak about locally.
So, Carlos Duarte, 83 West Glen Road. I just want to say thank you to everyone for the way you've handled things so far. This one, you know, obviously is close to home for several reasons. And you should know, after the play, and we were at the cast party, one of the teachers came up to me and we were talking a little bit. And you guys should know this as well, that they felt so like engaged with everything, that they were like, you know, I don't care what contracts say, you know, if the school needs me here to be here for the students, I'll do whatever it takes. And I thought you should know that. I don't want to say their name because I don't want to get in trouble with the union, but you should know that. And thank you for the milk money. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duarte. Appreciate it. Anyone else like to come up and make a comment? Seeing no one else, I will close our second and final open public comment section at 8:39 p.m. We do have a need for a second executive session for the public. We will not be voting on anything after this executive session. It will be for personnel. If Mr. Capello, if you would mind bringing us a second executive.
I move to convene an executive session in accordance with Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act The purpose of this closed session will be to discuss personnel issues. Minutes of the session will be made available to the public, and the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None?
Nay.
Nay, one nay. Any abstentions? None? All right, 6 yeas, 1 nay. We are in executive session as of 8:40 p.m.
Would you like more for the executive session?
No.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Pledge allegiance to the
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to our meeting. Appreciate everybody coming out. Really exciting night tonight. We've got, we're going to start off with our 2019 Persons of the Year presentation.
I'm ready. Good.
All right, I will turn it over to Mr. Forte.
Is Mike's on?
No, you just have to hit the button on the side.
This thing's funky. Definitely doesn't look like it's funky.
And actually, Steve, before you get started, I just want to talk a little bit about kind of the initiation of these Persons of the Year awards. A few years ago on the board, we really wanted to make sure that we are acknowledging the phenomenal students, staff, and community we have here in Denville. So it was a board initiative to come up with a way to acknowledge these phenomenal people we have in our community. And with the support of a few of our organizations, the PTA, the Foundation of Denville.
So the combined PTAs did two, and then the foundation.
Correct, okay. So the combined PTA supported 2 of them, as well as the Foundation of Denville, which is the educational nonprofit organization, came in and supported it also. So we're really happy to have them on board, appreciate their support, and this is probably one of my most exciting nights of the year. So Steve, all yours.
Thank you. Okay, so we're very proud of our people of the year. It's something that I started last year, and we're excited about it again to keep it going. And we'd like to start off with our staff member of the year, and we'd like to call up the PTA people that are here to present. You're up.
Thank you, everyone. It's with great pride and excitement that I have the honor of naming Mrs. Jessica Laneza as the Township of Denville School District Member, Staff Member of the Year. Mrs. Laneza is an amazing educator. She's the type of teacher that everyone wants for their child. She truly owns her students. Mrs. Laneza has the remarkable ability to provide students with a loving environment while at the same time challenging them to do their very best. She helps her students recognize their potential and gains confidence from working hard and believing in themselves. Mrs. Laneza is a passionate teacher about her students and about her profession. Her lessons are motivating and help students understand the real-life application to what they are learning. As she stands in her classroom among her students, she smiles, laughs, and encourages them. She teaches and works to help each individual student find their own path to learning successfully. If you happen to observe her class, you would see that she has a special relationship with all of her students. She connects with each child in thorough humor, genuine caring, and innovative instructions. She reaches every single one of them. As we all know, that's not an easy task, but that's who Jess Laneza is. Students are fortunate to be in Mrs. Laneza's capable and caring hands. The students love her, and the parents appreciate her dedication to their children. The parents know that their child will have a successful year in her class, and what they learn will have a lasting impact beyond 3rd grade. Mrs. Laneza is able to assist the struggling learners by breaking down the material and providing support so that the students understand and achieve success. They become more confident learners because of her efforts and assistance. She knows each one of her students well and is able to push and motivate them to accomplish more than what they had thought that they could be capable of. Anytime you pass her classroom, you will see students working hard, learning, and gaining important life skills such as perseverance, growth, and a love for learning. It's a busy and wonderful room in which students experience wonder, excitement, in which they gain knowledge not only about the world, but about themselves. They learn to value learning and to value one another as well. Mrs. Laneza became a teacher at Riverview School in 2001. She worked in grades 1 through 3, spending the majority of her time teaching 3rd grade. She met her husband, Pete, at Riverview, and they were fortunate to have their son, Lino, attend kindergarten here at Riverview. Riverview was thrilled to have her family be part of the Riverview family. When students heard that she was a staff member of the year, they roared and applauded, and as did the staff and all of her colleagues. Everyone knows what an amazing teacher and person Jess is. From teaching in the cottages for years, or from teaching back in the building, she makes learning meaningful. Students know that she cares for them. Not only is she a wonderful and gifted teacher, she is also a leader in her field. She has served in various committees, mentors new teachers, is a team leader, and a strong advocate for her students. Her colleagues look to her for guidance. She is loved and respected throughout the Riverview learning community. Mrs. Laneza deserves this honor. She works tirelessly to ensure each of her students progresses and leads with success. She goes above and beyond on a daily basis. She credits her amazing work ethic to her mother, who raised her and has her siblings alone after their father passed away at a very young age. She brings the same passion and dedication to being a wife, mother, teacher, friend, and colleague. Her friends are in awe of her intelligence, work ethic, and passion for leading a healthy life and being a wonderful teacher and mother. They joke that she is the smartest person that they know and will one day appear as the biggest winner on Jeopardy. When a question arises, it's ask Google or ask Jess. This award is to recognize and thank Mrs. Laneza for taking such great care of her students and not only making Riverview proud, but making Denville proud. Thank you, Ms. Laneza, for a loving teaching, motivating, and caring for our students. We are all very proud of you. We are pleased to present this award to you and remind you that you have touched so many lives. Please accept this recognition as the Township of Denville School District 2019 Staff Member of the Year.
So, Ms. Laneza was my son's 3rd grade teacher, and there's something that I always remember. I don't know if you're going to remember this, but, well, 2 things. I think I started here right after, pretty much. So, one of the things was I came in and talked to the teachers. I said, ask Ms. Laneza if you want to know how I'm going to be. And then the other thing was, my son stood up one time in the class, and I guess he was under like the fire alarm thing and cracked his head on it. Because he's like the taller kid, you know. So I remember he had to move his chair. And also I remember the play and some other multiplication tables. But I'm talking about funny stuff. So each award comes with a plaque, right? Well, plaques are cool, but everybody gets a plaque. Then they get their name on here, which goes in my office. 7, 8 people a year will see it, but it's nice. But you also get a $200 gift card. Comes with it, all supplied and sponsored by our various organizations here. So, all right, we have our next person coming up. This will be me. So the next person is the community member of the year. And the community member has been always a community member, but he now is only a community member. He was in an official capacity as the chief of police at Denville for 11 years, like that. One of the reasons why I think this award is perfect for this person, for former Chief Christopher Wagner, is he really cares about what happens in the schools. He cares deeply for the safety and security of all of our staff and students. Before I even started my job here, when I was in the middle of it, we were talking about what are we going to do to try to make things safer. when everything went down in Florida and Parkland, we were working on it right away. The Class 3 legislation that allows districts to use recently retired police officers at a reasonable cost, meaning like we have 3 police officers in our schools, we have full-time police officers in each school. We can get 3 police officers for the price of 1 regular police officer, like a regular uniformed person that's not retired, because there's benefits and other things associated. So that Chris Wagner was one of the reasons why that law was passed. He worked with our assemblyman and our senators Gucco, and got that legislation passed because he knew that after Sandy Hook, we had to do something different. It couldn't just be, wow, all right, this happened, let's just go back the way it was. And Chris, I know Chris took this deeply, like, if he talks about it, you can see the emotion in his eyes, just like me, that we're not going to be the ones that are just not going to do something about it. You have to do something. It can't just be status quo. And the fact that Chris was able to do all this with me and get these things done, and then we did a long road show because everyone wanted to hear what we did. We wrote an article. It was really a great thing for the town to have the relationship we have with him. And I'd like to call him up now, Chris Wagner. Community Member of the Year for 2019. I do this cautiously, but I'm going to ask Mr. Chief Wagner if he would like to say a few words. I said few. Fine, a few.
So first off, thank you. It's nice to be just the Citizen of the Year and not be Police Chief / Citizen of the Year. I had the best ride ever as the Chief of Police and as a police officer in Denville. My work with the school districts in Denville, in particular the K-8 district, was not only the most important work that I did, but some of the most enjoyable work that I did. And I do get emotional about it. I was fortunate enough to be a DARE officer in school for 5 or 6 years, and that's where I first got to know many of the teachers and staff members from school, and maybe where I got my passion for making sure that little kids and staff and students in school and teachers were safe. So this was completely unnecessary. I just simply appreciated having an opportunity to work with all of you. I'm pleased and proud to know that I see our new Chief of Police, Frank Perna, standing here, that he carries the torch as I did, and that as I see all these little kids sitting here, knowing that they remain safe every day. And I just want to thank the members of the board, anyone else who may have thought to nominate me. Mrs. Leanza, is that how it's properly pronounced? Right, I was just going to say, but it was Miss Zimmerman when she taught my daughter Kristen in probably 3rd grade, who's now 22 years old and has a successful career in New York City. So thank you for that. And to our Student of the Year, who I've not yet had an opportunity to meet, but I understand I'm going to in a minute, and is probably a phenomenal person. Congratulations to you, and I'm looking forward to meeting you as well. Thank you.
Okay, our last award, definitely not least, is our Student of the Year. And the Student of the Year is an award that all these are nominated by people. The criteria, I guess I should have said this before, right? We're giving out the awards, we're going to tell you why you're getting an award. So the criteria is just doing something above and beyond for the school or for some other students or anything to do with the school. Some above and beyond thing that you did. And we opened it up to the public. We had about 50 nominations, 50 different nominations, not 50 different people, but 50 different nominations, because some people were nominated more at once. And basically, the whole idea is doing something good for the district or for someone else in the school district. So I'd like to bring up Mrs. Hall to speak about our Student of the Year for 2019.
I'm one of the school counselors at Lakeview School. amazing Bella Pimenta. And believe me, this isn't the last time you will hear that name. When we were asked who we would think for student of the year, both Ms. Warner and I looked at each other and both said Bella at the same time. As a third grader last year, we have morning meetings at Lakeview School every morning, and Bella presented when she was in Mrs. Lintone's class, that she wanted to start a morning meeting club. She made a PowerPoint, she had it all worked out in true Bella fashion. And she presented to the class, then she presented to me, and I was totally blown away by this third grader. And as a fourth grader, she marched herself into my office and was like, Mrs. Hall, what about that morning meeting club I was talking about? What are we doing with that? I said, okay, Bella, what are we doing? And she organized it, she got the students together, they came to my office, she made posters, she talked to everybody about the different morning meeting ideas, and she went out and she started doing it in the classrooms, got some with her friends, and it has expanded so much over the year. Her PowerPoint is amazing. At one point, Ms. Warner and I needed to do something for morning meetings, and I'm like, Bella, where's that PowerPoint again? What did you name that? It was just so well done. She is not only a leader, she's not only persistent in what she wants and knows how to go after that perseverance, right? She is kind. She cares about others. She'll talk to me about other students when things are happening with them to let me know what's going on, to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing at Lakeview. She truly roars with pride. And I could not be happier for you, Bella. Congratulations, honey.
Being one of Isabella's soccer coaches for 2 years, and when I looked out into the audience today and saw her, I saw what I saw for every time she was on the soccer field, which is a big smile, and she brought joy to that team. She's just, in addition to being a great soccer player, she's just a phenomenal kid and somebody that continues to bring joy to her school and to the community. So thank you, Isabella, we appreciate it.
Get the winners up here with the presenters so we can get a couple pictures.
Congratulations to all the awardees. Thank you very, very much. We're going to move on to our second special presentation. This is it's always special when we have one presentation at night, but when you have two, this is a really special night. So I would like to call up the second grade students and staff to present on their Ellis Island trip.
board for their supporting and approving our social studies curriculum on our family and ancestries unit. We brought some friends with us tonight to share with you guys some things that we've been learning in second grade and some of the fun events that have been happening in Lakeview School. So I'm going to turn it entirely over to them.
My name is Aubrey. And my name is Mike from this is TSAC second grade. Our first part of social studies unit on families, ancestry, and immigration was to work on month-long ancestor project. Part one was to research our family ties. We created a family book and a paper tie to wear on the day of our presentation. We were able to celebrate how different all of our families are in our books. We shared pictures and answered questions such as our family traditions, family history, and things our families do together. I like looking for family photos in my book. We found a silly photo when I was little, and my brother and I were wearing matching pajamas. My favorite part was when I got to talk about all the places my family has traveled, like Sweden and Finland. We shared these things with my class. My nanny even came to school and shared some old family photos, and we tasted Italian bread and olive oil. My class got overstations. Hello. Yeah! Hello, we're going to Alan who was born in Mrs. Stern's class. We would like to tell you about our country report project. We explored and researched our countries that our families are from. We learned about our country's special holidays and traditions. It was fun to discover the similarities and differences between our countries. Our class got to know each other even more, but most importantly, we learned about ourselves and our family. That's part of the country report project. It's a good thing. Some brought special artifacts from their country while others brought it was awesome to learn from old and I was so glad in Ireland. Hi, we are Amanda Mountain from this country. At 2 days before the Alzheimer's, the teachers gave us a statement. Because it's easy to see each second grade class was split in half between immigrants and expected. We will tell you about our experience as immigrants. We created passports and had the opportunity to dress up if we wanted to. We started off by taking a short boat ride that even past the Statue of Liberty. This was fun because they made a paper boat house to attend the Ocean across the Atlantic Ocean. It was tight but really fun. And we traveled between the classrooms and had exams on our physical and mental abilities. We did things like building the strips to hair and every exam, covering one eye and reading an eye chart, doing puzzles like drawing and how to draw with pen. We took the math tests and citizenship exam. My favorite part was doing the citizenship test in Mrs. Cusack's class because I thought it was fun to test how much we know about the country. My favorite part was doing the physical exam because I liked doing sexy activities that were down in the hallway like chasing the penguin and hopscotch. We liked this experience because it made us become more real friends. Hi, I'm Ashley. And I'm Amanda. From Mrs. Linda's class. The second grade participated in an Ellis Island simulation activity. Students were invited to dress up like their ancestry background. It was cool to see each other's cultural background. We also made hats to look like inspectors. That was one of my favorite parts. Students played the roles as inspectors, where they gave mock tests or inspections to incoming immigrants. Some inspectors were very nice and some were very strict. The inspection stations included a math test, sight test, a puzzle solving activity, a physical exam, and intelligence test. My class was responsible for the math test. We learned that giving the test as an inspector was much easier than taking it. We learned that life in America wouldn't be easy. Things could get hard. After each exam, inspectors decided if the immigrant passed or failed. When the students returned to their classroom with a passing checklist, the students' passports were stamped and immigrants were welcomed into America. Students had the opportunity to play both roles as an inspector and immigrant over the course of 2 days. This was a fun experience while we were still learning.
Hi, my name is Brennan, and this is
from 1892 to 1924. And the big year for letters was in our field trip. If I could pick my favorite parts of the trip, they would be: number 1, I love seeing the statue of Annie Moore, the first immigrants to arrive at Ellis Island at age 15. Number 2, in the dormitory room, we saw that they had bunk beds that were 3 levels high. Number 3, it was fascinating to see the butt plug that the inspectors used to check for coma, a contagious eye disease. Number 4, we actually saw the Statue of Liberty. She was huge. Now Shannon will give you some tips.
If you ever have the chance to visit Ellis Island, here are some tips. On the ferry, wear a jacket because it might be cold. Always stay with your group because you don't want to be separated like some of the immigrants did. Visit the top floor where you can see clothing and items brought by the immigrants like this teddy bear. Thank you for letting us experience such an important part of our history.
Very much for presenting. I will tell you that I think that you guys can probably jump right up there and speak because you guys are awesome. You rock. So thank you very much. I will tell the teachers that you may have my twins in 4th grade and my 3rd grader that are asking why they didn't get to go to Ellis Island. So, but no, they're really excited that you guys got to go, and it sounds like an awesome trip. We really appreciate hearing about it. Your projects are awesome. So thank you so much for coming out. Let's get a quick picture. But we're just going to take a few-minute break, so if the kids want to leave and get out, please feel free. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you.
We're going to resume our meeting in a few minutes. I would like to stay. You're more than welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
resume in about 2 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Dort.
This feels good.
Rub it in.
Actually, that plaque and that paper. Thank
Just waiting on one more, but I think we can get started. We're going to resume 8:03 p.m. here, and we'll continue our agenda with superintendent's comments, please. Just a minute. Is it okay to get started? Oh, she's walking in. Perfect.
So obviously, this was a trying couple days, and I couldn't be more proud of our community. Everybody just has been so supportive and understands that this is it's a tough issue, it's a tough thing to get over, but I feel like we're moving forward, and the kids have been great, the staff has been great, the community's been great. I was really proud of the 3 candidates right here, the 3 award winners. They were all had some strong qualities that allowed them to get that award. I wanted to share with the board and the public too that there's a new law called Alyssa's Law, and I did send a memo to the state asking for guidance on what we're supposed to do about Megan's Law because it's due on September 1st. I'm sorry, Alyssa's Law. And I did get a reply. I shared both things with you. The memo was asking for some details, what exactly we have to do, what does it do, and the reply was that they're not sure and to put it on hold for now. We are going to have to do a demographic study update to update our LRFP if we want to continue doing projects that are going to be approved by the New Jersey Department of Ed. That's something we just found out today. So all along, we had our LRFP draft ready to go, but the state wasn't ready to accept it. So now they're ready to accept it, and if you don't have it updated, you can't put it for projects. So the first step is we have to get our demographic study updated. I'm not sure how detailed that will be. I asked Ross for a proposal today, and then we'll have to have our LRFP updated to reflect the demographic study and then uploaded to the state. We're under the gun a little bit because we have projects that are getting ready to be approved. So we're going to move on it pretty quick. I'll keep you apprised as we go along. And the Grease show at Valley View was unbelievable. It was a great distraction from a tough couple days. And I can't say enough about the kids and the staff. And it was really nice having the air conditioning up there. As a dad that's seen many of those plays, going back to when my daughter was in 6th grade, I can tell you that I did sweat in there several times, and this time it was comfortable. As a matter of fact, some people even said it was cold. So it was really nice to have the AC. Our new lighting and sound system looks amazing, and we've come a long way. That is like a showpiece for the district, so it's great to see that these things are coming into action, and it looks great. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Forte. Dr. Cullis, Assistant Superintendent, comments.
I want to make sure that we congratulate both Lakeview and Riverview schools on being recognized as national schools of good character. So we found out about a week ago, and it's just a huge honor. Both schools are sending representatives to two separate conventions here in New Jersey, and as well as to Washington, D.C. to present in October. So congratulations to both the schools. It was a lot of effort and a job well done. Excuse me. May 29th is a big day at Valley View. We have our 5th grade students going up for their transition visit during the day, and then that night, May 29th, the 8th grade parents will come at 6 o'clock to hear about the 8th grade trip, and then 5th grade parents come at 7:30 to hear about the transition. And Mr. Corbin and I will present the information. It's the second half of the transition meetings. First was held last month, and this is the second part. So hope all the parents can attend on May 29th. And this concludes Assistant Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Cullis. Damaris, any business administrator comments?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make a quick statement, kind of following up on Mr. Forte's comments. I can tell you, I've been on this board for 4.5 years, and the past 4 days have been by far the most difficult as a board member. As a parent of 3 young children, there's been a roller coaster of emotions, as I'm sure all parents and community members have had. I'm confident that we as a community will move on from this, but we should never forget the lessons we learned. I truly believe that this Denville community is much stronger than any single individual incident or incidents. I was at Valley View Middle School on Friday when Mr. Forte spoke to the middle school students. Mr. Forte's comments were from the heart, and you can certainly feel the emotion in his voice as he spoke to the students. He encouraged the students to talk about the situation, and he offered 2 avenues for those conversations. Number one, the entire staff was there to support them. In fact, they were pretty much around the room, and he pointed to all of them and said that he encouraged them to speak with them, and he said that they're all there for them. Extra counselors were at Valley View on Friday throughout the weekend and will be as long as needed. I appreciate the support of both the county as well as St. Clair's for providing extra counselors at the school. Ms. Forte also encouraged the students to speak with their family when they got home. I can tell you, I have been so impressed with the students, the staff, the administration, and our superintendent. The staff have been extremely professional and 100% focused on the well-being of our students. It's important to note that we also need to support our incredible school staff, as I've said to the public I've spoken to, as I said to the board, and to Mr. Forte and the administration. I've asked the public to remember to thank them and check in on their well-being. The Board of Education will continue to be there to support them and provide resources as needed and as long as they are needed. As I've stated, this is obviously an active police investigation. I've encouraged the public and anyone who might have information related to report to the Denville Police Department or the Morris County Prosecutor's Office. They can certainly reach out to Mr. Forte for those contact information, or obviously call the Denville Police Department at any time. While this is definitely obviously an ongoing police investigation, the school system obviously has started and will continue to investigate ways internally that we can ensure that our students are safe. I wanted to emphasize to that the board is obviously unable to comment on any personnel or ongoing police matters. At this time, I'm going to open for open public discussion. I will remind everyone a little bit about our policy for participation in the open public comment section. Participation is recognized, the participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by any announcement of his or her name, place of residence, and group affiliation. If you do want to come up to make a comment, I encourage you to sign in on the sheet and then state your name and address for the record. The statements will be limited to approximately 3-minute duration. The one thing I do want to remind everybody is that all statements, questions, inquiries shall be directed to me as the president of the Board of Education, and I will respond as needed or required, but I encourage the public to not make comments to any other member of the board, as the public comment section is specifically designed for comments to me as the president of the Board of Education. So with that, it is currently 8:11 p.m. and I will open for public comments. If you'd like to make comments, please come up and sign in on the sheet and state your name and address for the record.
Christy Kogas-Rokicki. I live on 106 East Glen Road. I'm a parent. I'm an 8th grader at Valley View. I have a 4th grader at Riverview. I had several questions tonight. I just want to say thank you so much. You addressed so many of them in this unthinkable situation. I come with 2 remaining questions. One, specifically at Riverview and Lakeview, how is this being addressed? Because my 4th grader came home and said that the 4th and 5th graders at Riverview, while I understand there were counselors there, are encouraging each other to Google what happened. And we had a very graphic and detailed conversation on some of the things that she's been told by her peers over the weekend. So I just encourage the board and you to think about how this is being addressed and possibly provide some resources and additional talking points at an age-appropriate level. I had a question about the faculty who have been amazing. I'm glad to hear that there's support in place for them, because I picked my child up on Friday early, coincidentally, and they look shell-shocked, so I'm glad that that's continuing to happen. And then lastly, I'm just curious to hear what additional action steps, Steve so eloquently spoke about how we're positioned in the state as a leader in our community around school safety and school shootings. And this unfortunate incident, I hope, is really going to position us as a leader in the area around sexual assault. I was at a community event over the weekend, and to say I was disturbed that I heard from parents that the friend requests were happening as early as last year on social media from the accused is disturbing to me. And I would hope that the board would put an action plan in place similar to what we have for a shooting, that students are being empowered and educated to come forward, because the odds of this being the only incident, unfortunately, in our community, slim to none. You know, we know the statistics around sexual assault. So that was my question, I guess, at the end. I'd love to hear and continue the dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments and questions. We do really appreciate it. You know, I would probably ask Steve if he can comment a little bit about Riverview and Lakeview, but I'll kind of jump on the second comment you made first. Obviously, our first and initial steps are to ensure that we're there for the staff and the students, like you had mentioned. We've started some initial steps into the discussion on what now? Where do we go as a district? And I can promise you that that discussion will be ongoing and will be detailed. We do have many things in place that we work on. We've instituted additional mental health programs, and these mental health programs are about empowering students to be strong people in the community, not just strong students. The School of Character is certainly one of those initiatives that we're proud to have. We've instituted additional mental health programs within the schools to continue to support that. I can tell you that we will continue to do more with, if you see something, say something, with our students, our staff, our community. Without going into any details on what we've found so far, I can tell you that there's been nothing found that has been a shock to us. In other words, there was nothing that we can see from a district perspective that has been missed or that that was overlooked. With that, we will continue to look and pursue, and in the immediate, I ask any public to bring it to the police department. And then we will obviously continue to investigate on our side, not investigate is probably the wrong word, but determine what the best ways are for us to proceed as a district. But the conversation is just starting with that, to be honest. But I can promise you that it will continue. And I really truly appreciate your comments. Steve, can you address the Riverview Lakeview?
So at Riverview and Lakeview, we had plans in place, obviously, to talk to teachers and students. And we had a conference call late Sunday night with the principals and counselors, so everybody was aware. Whether or not kids were talking about it amongst themselves, I mean, I don't know if there's a way we can prevent that. But what I could do is ask the principal to give you a call tomorrow if she may have some more details. I can actually have that. If you think that might help.
I think it would be just, a lot of this is happening on the lunch playground. Kids, actually, my daughter initially found out about it, not even like at the school event, she found out about it from older kids at track and came home from track on Friday night, and she's like, whoa, what's going on? So I think it's just maybe encouraging adults and parents to be aware and kind of be in the zone with the kids a little bit more and overhear some of the conversations. This was specifically happening at lunch today, where she's like, can I Google it? I'm like, you absolutely cannot Google this. We are not moving that forward. So these are just some of the conversations that are happening at school. So I think they're 4th and 5th graders. 5th graders are going up to Valley View. I know there's probably, concerns with some of the students at Valley View. It's a traumatic event. This is a trauma, and it's coming on the heels of, what happened at the VOTEC school. So I think it's just a series of things happening, and I think we need to address it to make sure that our kids are just mentally prepared, that they feel safe. It's just not a predator, it was a leader in our community on so many levels, and that's just, I think it's horrible to begin with, but I think it just makes it that much worse and more traumatic, and we need to be tuned in. But,
We'll definitely address it.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments? Seeing no one, we'll close our first open public comment section at 8:18 p.m. There will be a second open public comment section later in the meeting. We move on to our agenda. Mrs. Wagner, would you mind moving us through old business, please?
I would like to move A, B, and C as a block. A is the reports from April 2019 for the treasurer's report and the board secretaries. B are education reports from April 2019 as well as HIB reports. And C are the minutes from work and executive session of April 8th as well as April 29th.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lure. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Lure?
Yes, but I need to abstain on C number 2.
Mr. Kim?
Yes, abstaining from the minutes for the executive session on April 29th, since I was not here.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Mr. Lure, would you mind moving us to new action personnel?
Certainly. I would like to move items 1 through, I believe it's 11 as a block, also pointing out the addendum. We have under item 1, we have a plethora of personnel items. We have vacation days being cashed in, lots of summer work for the teachers on an hourly basis. We have extended school year stuff for the summer. We have the retirement of Gerald Sullivan, who's been a bus driver for a large number of years. We also have a volunteer for summer custodial help, an Anthony Forte.
Busy.
And the addendum is items S through X on number 1. We'll be approving the per diem substitute administrator. We have a couple of resignations, leave replacements, and new hires, as well as an extended school year hire. The additional items are the contract for Dr. Cullis, Damaris Gorowski. We'll be approving leave of absences for the Family Medical Leave Act. There's several of those. The list of chaperones for the middle school 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. And on the substitutes, we have 2, the second one being in the addendum. And we also have the appointment of Seth Corman as the interim or acting principal of Valley View Middle School effective May 21 of this year, and that and a suspension of an employee.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Questions, comments? I do want to congratulate and wish the best to Mr. Sullivan, as Mr. Lure mentioned, as well as Mrs. Harris, and then welcome 2 new hires to the district, including a bus driver and a teacher at Lakeview. Any other questions, comments? Yes, thank you, Mrs. Wagner, for mentioning. Congratulations and thank you to Dr. Cullis for achieving meeting her merit goal number 5. Provide ongoing training and progress monitor special education and intervention staff in multi-sensory math. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Lure?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Mr. Capello, would you mind moving us to instruction program, please?
Certainly. If there are no objections under instruction program, I'd like to move items 1 and 2 as a block. 1 is the list of attached field trip requests, and number 2 are workshop expenses, which we review at our meeting every other month.
Thank you, Mr. Cass. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Lure?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Mr. Kim, would you mind moving us, oh, I'm sorry, we have no policy revisions tonight. That's awesome. Mr. Cass, would you mind moving us through finance?
Sure. I had 12 items to move under finance. Number 1 is our check register with checks to approve for the milk fund, current expenses, general organization, elementary enrichment. Number 2 is the non-resident tuition rate is listed on the agenda. Number 3 is that the Board of Education approves to renew, award, or commit to expire the following contracts previously awarded by the Board of Ed. Number 4 is a resolution to provide milk for the students for the 2019-2020 school years. You can see it listed there: half pint chocolate fat-free, half pint 1% white, and a half pint fat-free milk. Number 5 is to approve Arda Health Solutions to provide speech therapy for the ESY program at Lakeview School from June 24th, 19 to August 1st, 19. Not to exceed $4,050. Number 6 and 7 are approved air and transportation contracts for 2 special ed students. Number 8 is to approve the special education tuition contract agreement between the Dover Board of Ed and the Denville Board of Education. Number 9 is to approve district bid award letters from the Educational Services Commission of Morris County for school supplies for the upcoming school year. Number 10 is to approve the amount of tax money to be required for school purposes for the 2019-2020 school year, $31,168,585. And as you can see below that is the allocation of monies by month for the budget year. Number 11 is to approve a tuition agreement for Toms River Regional Schools for student ID 2026111 to be displayed for the period of February 25th to March 14th, 2019. At a total tuition cost of $918.19. And the final one is to accept from the New Jersey Natural Gas Company contest prize money for the winners of the NJNG photo contest for Valley Middle School, in the amount of $1,000, and they're going to use that money on an environmental project.
Second. Thank you, Mr. Kim. Any questions, comments?
Now, Mr. Steve, could you explain number 3?
This is a list of all the contracts that the district currently is doing business with. Or we have done business in the past, but we keep it in the list in case we might do business in the future. And the law requires that we approve them before the end of the school year.
Thank you.
I mentioned this at the work session, but I'll mention it again. Number 10, if everyone notices, the debt column is 0. So this is the first time in, it's gotta be, what, 20 years? That there is no debt in this district, so I know I'm pretty proud of that. I know a lot of the folks up here are, that we've been able to continue to provide the services, the building, the support, the staff, and not go back out to referendum, as even some of our neighboring districts are going out to referendum for things that we have been able to accomplish within our regular budget. So pretty darn proud of that, and hope we can continue to do that. Any other questions?
I was wondering about item 12, the New Jersey Natural Gas Contest Prize money. This just came on the addendum recently, so I didn't have a chance to ask about it. What happened? Who did something good that won that won it?
It's the science teachers in the middle school,
Oh, okay.
and it's part of that program that we have. And it was a contest that they were able to, about all the environmental stuff we do, green, Mrs. Styles, she had that Spanish weekend. So it's basically they went into a contest, and the kid got an award, the teacher got an award, and the school gets it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
No on check number 1179 for the milk fund. No on number 4. Yes on everything else.
Mr. Lure?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?